We sat in Dartington Hall Gardens. It's got meaning to me, this place. I came here on like a school trip for a couple of weeks in the summer once when I was about 16, and this is all like pretty haunted vibe around here. There's like this little secret cemetery over there. We kind of climbed into it and were hanging around by the gravestones, sort of singing weird tunes. I was playing guitar, a couple of these girls were kind of improvised singing and stuff, and they were kind of going all these kind of weird ghostly sounds in the hope of conjuring up a ghost. I think that's influenced the way, definitely that's why I sing, all that kind of weird kind of ooh stuff. I think how the Ouija board stuff and all that relates to the music is that, you know, we consider the absurd, as I did when I was 15. I don't think much has changed, really.
And Muse's taste for the absurd has left some people scratching their heads.
I can remember when Origin came out, I'd never really seen any other album get mixed reviews like that. I mean, they went from 0 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. I don't know, I think, you know, maybe it was from some of the over-the-topness. You know, some people found themselves really attracted to that side of it, and, you know, other people found themselves thinking it was just a load of bollocks.
I was pretty impressed that it got like a lot of kind of strong opinions. It's quite interesting to create something that kind of causes that, you know.
Dan Martin from the NME.
They don't care, and to be fair, they never have cared. You know, he goes on talking about space and the end of the world. You know, if you're going to talk about these things, then you have to be prepared that people are going to think it's ridiculous, and people do.
But not the Muse fan. A fervent worshipper whose every waking hour is concerned by thoughts of Muse. In a world of surface dwellers, the Muse fan delves deep.
Around the time of the first album, it seemed there was a few people around Europe especially that were just following us around everywhere, and every time we'd open the bus door there'd be like, you know, a couple of girls just crying, like not crying as in with joy with happening, just crying. You know what I mean? Just like just depressed and sad, and like, and then we'd shut the door and go on to the next thing and open the door and they'd be there again just crying as we open the door.
Amsterdam, 2003.
Well, we're at the Melkweg and we're going to see Muse in just about 2.5 hours.
I've been here since 11 a.m. and it's now 7 o'clock.
Muse, after all, is the god of poetry, and I think about the galaxy and the earth. There are much poetic things about that. I write poems myself, and there's a connection there between me and the band, I think.
She got a meet and greet. She won a meet and greet. Yeah, I did. She's sick now. Yeah, she's got to puke.
I expect a wonderful sensation this evening.
We've definitely received some letters of a pretty intense psychological nature. I've read the word suicide a few times. I don't know if it's anything out of the ordinary, to be honest. Maybe it is. There was a weird painting someone did that Dom kept just to kind of try and wind me up.
It's kind of like this really gothic, romantic painting of Matt looking really thin and naked with like long hands and fingers, a bit like an alien or something, and he was just kind of holding himself in this really strange pose. But there was lots of detail in his picture of all the little things that Matt kind of wore and liked, and it's kind of maybe a little bit disturbing how much thoughts kind of went into that, really, and how much research went into that. But it's quite a nice piece though, I've still got it.
The time is September this year. The place, a music venue. The Melkweg, in the heart of Amsterdam. The cast of characters, 3 musicians, and 800 Dutch people.
I'm a little deaf now.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Beautiful.
Best gig ever. It was awesome.
It was
really
incredible, really.
Yes.
They're a great band, one of the best in the whole world.
When I heard Sing for Absolution, I wanted to cry.
I'm really tired now, but I can't sleep tonight.
I just want more.
Hello, we're in Amsterdam at the moment, just doing an obscene amount of press
In a church. we're like in this. The record company thought it'd be a good idea to come to this old church from the 13th century, and it was a good idea until all the questions are asking you, do I believe in God, and what does absolution mean, and blimey, I've lost it. I found myself playing one of the biggest church organs in Europe whilst being filmed by MTV as well, which is, they kind of said, we want you on the organ, play something now. And they started filming me, and it was like, it was pretty scary. I've never played a bloody massive, well I did play one, but not one this big anyway. It was pretty bizarre. God,
Sounds amazing.
They take it so seriously up here, don't they? I have to go through the 7 deadly sins. Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, this is an interview. Just sat down and took me through the 7 deadly sins and asked me what I'd committed. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was I going to say? Do you know what I mean?
Weird. A word meaning strikingly odd or unusual. Strange. Some might say Muse are weird. But what is weird to Muse?
When we kind of noticed things were getting weird is when we'd go out in the daytime before the sound check and go to a shop and we'd buy all these strange masks and hats, and we started buying like bags and bags of all this stuff and kind of setting it up backstage and inviting people back.
They were kind of like those, like Zorro and cowboy hats and moustaches and
boas and kind of like clown masks. Cross section of traditional theatre.
I remember one evening when we were all tied back to the bus and there was like about 20 people that just got loose and with masks and hats and no one knew who anyone was. Do you know what I mean? It was just a bit of a loose time. I remember seeing a couple of bums and I don't know. I remember seeing Tom's face and a couple of bums. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. I found myself half naked in the toilets with one of those, you know, those rope lights wrapped all around my body, just twitching in a corner with a load of kind of crying girls poking me. And I kind of said, right, we should knock these parties on the head, you know, because they got to the point where they weren't normal.
But if you think that's weird, then wait one moment. Muse haven't even started.
I'd like to do a musical. I saw that Queen musical, you know, and I thought that was pretty funny. It made me laugh, but I thought, imagine if the actual band was there, you know, actually playing as well. But years ago, we talked about doing a gig where we're going to have like a big circular rotation stage in the middle with 4 different sets, like one with us all like wearing nice jumpers like the Beach Boys with like a coal fire in the background. And kind of sitting around, clicking our fingers, kind of singing a few acoustic songs. And then like, the stage rotates around, there's like this big metallic, just horrible, sort of weird metal set, and we will come on all dressed up weird and sort of just play weird techno rock. And then it sort of spins around again and it's us kind of doing a full-on opera. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I think the idea of like a stage that rotates around with 4 different set designs on, which shows, you know, the 4 different phases of the band, it would be a good direction.
But what does Paul Rogers, producer of We Will Rock You, think?
It's to be applauded but curtailed, I think, about this idea of wearing nice jumpers like the Beach Boys with a coal fire in the background. This is Sunday night at the London Palladium stuff. They're going mad. Don't even go there, Muse, if you're thinking about it.
Radio 3's Verity Sharp.
If they could dream up the next kind of generation of musicals and, yeah, maybe have a story about aliens and spacemen, but make it good. Obviously, it's not going to be really serious, but if they made it good and put that kind of a sound as a backdrop, that could really catch on, I reckon.
Whatever you expect from Muse, expect the unexpected.
We've never really felt too musically restricted to any genre in any way, you know, we've always felt like we could move forward and do what we want.
Sure, there's been songs that we've done in the past where we sort of come up with the idea originally and then kind of thought, well, you know, is that pushing it? We just thought, we'll do it anyway.
You don't force yourself to make a bunch of asses of yourself, it happens naturally, you know? I think it's one of those things that you won't even know you're making an ass of yourself until much later down the line. But I think it's sometimes a good thing to make music that, you know, 10 years later you look back and go, oh my god, what was going on there? But I don't know, I'm not sure if that will happen. I think it's approaching that time where it's looks like it could happen. I think we'll just take it naturally, and wherever it naturally takes us could be, you know, could be well outside of what is publicly acceptable. But I think we'll go there if needs be, if it's what we like.
Dialogue from a play, Hamlet to Horatio. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. There are more things in heaven and earth than can perhaps be dreamt of. And somewhere in between heaven and the earth lies the world of Muse. My head hurts. Think I'll lie down now.
That was Stairway to Devon, the Muse story, here on BBC Six Music.
And you. The Melkweg, in the heart of Amsterdam. The cast of characters